Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? I'm Enrique, and this is Easy Things to Draw. Today I want to talk to you about two-point perspective. And, if you didn't watch the other two videos, really watch them. I think they're really necessary to actually understand what I'm going to talk about here. So my other two videos are, and I'll link them on the screen hopefully, it'll be Intro to Perspective, and it's, let me see, the Intro to Perspective and the one-point perspective. So go check those two out before you watch this. I just kind of scribbled these in pretty quick. I want to talk about really quick what two-point perspective is. With one-point perspective, to kind of recap, one-point perspective is when it has one set of lines. An object has one set of lines going away from you. And by that I mean 1, 2, and 3-point perspective, all of them, they all have 3 sets of lines. I put 4, wow. 3 sets of lines. With one-point perspective, you have the horizontal, you know what I mean? Like this way, you have the horizontal lines, right? You have like 3 of them, I guess, right there. Then you have the vertical set, so it's a second set. And then you have the set of lines going away from you. You know what I mean? That's the third. So you got 3 sets of lines right there. So yeah, that would be 3 sets of lines. But only one set of them is actually going away from you to a vanishing point over here, on the vanishing point. So that's what I mean by that's 1 point. There's 1 point it is going to, one set of lines going away from you. I always say the set thing because it just puts it together for me a little more. Just me personally, that's why I'm using it. Over here, there's 2-point perspective. So this is 2-point, right? Same thing. You have 3 sets of lines. You have the vertical, right? You have those 3. In black there. Then you have one, but instead of a horizontal, you don't have horizontal. You have one set of lines going away from you, and then you have another set of lines going away from you to another vanishing point. So you have 2 sets of lines that are going away from you. Anyways, that's what two-point perspective is. I just drew that really quick to talk about this. There's a few different things about it, right? Like how far do you make these vanishing points, correct? Like, how far do you make those? Okay, guys, so let's kind of go over this really quick. This is kind of one of the harder concepts that I never got, and I'm going to try to teach it. I never really fully, it took me a long time for it to click, but it did click, it really did. So, let's pretend this is a picture that we're looking at, or this is the valley we're looking at. This is reality over here, That's reality. There's like a house over here, right? Let's pull it down. There's a house over here. Yeah, that's a house. So, let's talk about us, and kind of our anatomy and things like that. What is our field of vision in degrees, And I mean for one eye. I believe they kind of do this with one eye. Like what is the degrees that we can see, without turning your head or anything. So they say it's roughly on average, and this is the average person, etc. It's just average. They say it's roughly about what is it, 60 degrees. So imagine, I don't know what 60 degrees is like. Let's just estimate it like that, maybe. Something like that. Doesn't really matter. We don't have to be exact. So when that's as far as we can see with one eye, like standing there, because we had to do that with images, because when we paint and stuff like that, we're trying to create a window into another world, and our window is basically what we can see with our eyes. So that's as far out as we can see. You know what I mean? There's nothing beyond that. So when we look out at the world, and I think they call it the cone of vision or something like that. You see this kind of circle through one eye, or it's probably, I guess with 2 eyes, it's probably a weird shape, right, with the nose in the way. I don't know. Ignore that. So there's kind of that cone of vision you have. So 60 degrees. Just, you don't have to really remember that, This is just a concept. You don't even have to draw this down. You don't even have to draw this at all. This is just an idea to remember. That's as far as we can see. So we're looking out into the world. We see only that far. It doesn't get any further than that. So that's why they do this. So that's that picture we're going to see with our eye. See what I mean? That is the picture we're seeing with our mind's eye. Let me pull that back a little bit. Now, so that's the world, right? With our 60-degree vision. And our our vanishing points are, we could put them over there maybe. You know, you could probably move them in. I mean, but that's kind of what we're working with, you know, when we have our vision. So, what happens when you move this guy forward? Let's try that out. Let's move this guy forward. Same hairdo, right? Same hairdo, all that stuff. But he still has that same 60 degrees. He can still only see 60 degrees out. So let's make that parallel here. That parallel here. It's still only 60 degrees. So he's seeing a different world. He's looking, his world is, that's closer, like zoomed in, right? But he's still only seeing as far as his eye can possibly see. With this, when objects get bigger like that, that's kind of when you choose where you kind of like place your vanishing points, your 2 vanishing points. This concept relates to if you want an object to look closer. See how like the vanishing points are way pulled in. You know what I mean? This is where his vanishing points would probably be right here. You know what I mean? Because it's so close. And then back here would be more like over here. His vanishing points would be really far. So like with this image, let's draw what this guy's seeing. Just really quick. This guy's probably seeing some like, he's got this big valley, you know what I mean? Wow, that's my horrible house. Anyways, something like that, right? Just to prove a point. And then let's see what this guy's saying. This guy is saying, let's see, try to make that same scale as the other one. This guy's saying something like this. The house is like right here. Crummy house. Just trying to make a point here. Don't judge me. This guy's seeing something like that. Now, the difference between these vanishing points is huge, right? The vanishing points with this are right way out here. And this guy's are probably like over here. Right. Although I drew it bigger as well. So he's also physically closer. He doesn't have to be physically closer if you do that. These two concepts right here, the closer you move in, I mean, that's a duh concept, right? The closer you move in, the less of the sides you're going to see as well. But, and the further away, the less. But the point is here, though, the closer you move into an object, the closer your vanishing points are going to be. You know what I mean? And the further away you are, the further away your vanishing points are going to be. And I can show you that in a second here. Or maybe you can think of it like this. Like, if you want to convey an object that's really far away, move your vantage points pretty far. You know what I mean? Outside that box. And let me show you 2 things right now. So, let me put something down here, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Stay with me on this. Stay with me, guys. Trying to explain. It's kind of a hard concept to grasp in the beginning. Hold on. So, let's say you have, let's say the same vanishing point, let's say, on this too. Okay, so let's take a box at the same height. Hold on, let me sharpen this. Let's take a box let's try to make exactly the same height boxes. Let's make it higher, why not, to really make it, well, no, like that's fine. Sure. Let's do it lightly. Let's make these exactly the same height. Okay, these are the same height. These start of these corners of these boxes, right? So, but we're gonna make one important change. One of them is gonna have vanishing points right here and right here, let's say. And then one of them, the other one, and I'm gonna make this extreme too, so it's gonna cross over even. And I'm gonna use the blue for this. I'm gonna make vantage point right here for this image right here. And I'm gonna make it way off the page over there somewhere. You're not even gonna be able to see it. But I'm also gonna make them. Let me make this box blue to be clear. I'm also gonna make them the same width, so that kind of proves my point a little bit. So let's say this box is about. Let's say this box. That's where the end of the building is right here. About an inch that way, an inch this way. Alright, so I'm going to pull from the top into this vanishing point right now. Wham! And I'm going to stop here at this corner, because that building is like that. The same. Going to do the same over here. 1 second. Boom. Stopping right there because that's the edge of the building. But I'm pointing right at that vanishing point. Alright, so now we have our building right here. This is what we're standing in front of with the vanishing points pulled together. Okay, that's one building. Let's try our other building. 1 second. Our other building, remember, our vanishing point's really far away. I'm trying to make this extreme on purpose. Oh wait, we gotta make this the same, about an inch to both sides as well. This is the edge of the building, this is the edge of the building. So I'm going to pull out that way. I'm going to aim at it, right? But I'm not going to go beyond that line because that's how far the building goes. Right there. Top of that, pulling out here toward that, but I'm not going to go all the way because the edge of the building I chose. The edge of the building is arbitrary, by the way. I just try to make them the same distance. I'm going to make this out here to this vantage point you guys can't see, unfortunately. See, the edge of the building is right here. Same thing out here, pulling out that vanishing point. And the edge of the building, remember, is completely arbitrary where I put this. It could be thinner, it could be whatever. But I just wanted to make it as generic a box as I could. So, okay, this kind of proves my point a little bit. Which one of these looks bigger? And they're the same scale. Remember that. They're the same height. They're the same width. You know what I mean? To me, this one looks a lot bigger. Okay? I'm not even going to... This is just, you know... It looks bigger. It appears bigger. Appears bigger. Because the vantage points are so close. It makes you feel like you're close. You know? It makes you feel like you're that guy right in front of this building here. You know what I mean? That's why, like, really, you know, see how it tapers like that? You got this extreme kind of like right in front of you, and it shrinks back like that, foreshortening, like, you know what I mean? And it looks like you're standing in front of like a bigger building. This one looks like you're looking at a toy block. You know what I mean? It looks like a Lego or something. It doesn't look like anything big. It just looks like a cardboard box, and that's because the perspective points are way out, and it makes you feel far away from it. You know, you are that guy standing way over there and looking at that building. You know what I mean? If these are both buildings, like I said, if they're the same object, this looks like you're right next to it, you're in front of it, and this appears like you're just seeing it from the horizon, maybe. You know what I mean? It doesn't have much change right here in degree or anything. So that's a really important concept to remember. When you're drawing and when you're like, let's say you need a cityscape, right? If you want to feel like you're really in the city, you know what I mean? You don't have to make it as exaggerated as, by the way. It can be, I made these extreme, you know what I mean? I mean, there's more extreme. We have like a fisheye view, but, that would be pretty extreme, you know, in terms of like, you know, this you'd have to be like, you know, characters right here. Yeah, that could be, you know, it's a little extreme, you know, in terms of the difference. And this one I pulled it way out. But if you want to make like a city with people in it, you know what I mean, go toward this, something like that. If you're in front of it, if they're buildings like really far away, and honestly, we're gonna need most of this for buildings, you know, probably machinery. If you want to make them look like they're really far away, you think of this, pull your perspective points further away from each other, and toy around with it and see what works for you. You can't, I believe you can pull these to the point where they do break. I believe they both snap in both ways. So that's a concept that I really, really want you to remember, because that is such a big deal. And I see so many people, and I said this in the other video, I see so many people on DeviantArt, especially, that don't know anything about this. And it looks like they're playing in Legos, or it looks like, they make one building giant, one not giant. So remember that. Let's go over and draw a couple of boxes to kind of nail this concept into us, So I'm going to get over here, and I'm going to just make a regular, do what I did in the other video. Here's our vanishing point on one side, our vanishing point on the other side. They call it VP1 and VP2. You've seen that a lot. Oops, I put VP2 and VP2. So let's draw a couple of lines above the horizon line and a couple of lines below. A couple of boxes, I'm sorry. This is good practice. I would do this in 1 point, and I would do this in 2 point as well. Let's just draw a couple of random lines over here. Maybe we'll do like 2 boxes on top and then like 2 boxes on the bottom. 2 boxes on top, 2 boxes on the bottom is good. Let's see over here toward the center. Actually, let's draw one over here toward the, just toward the middle. You know what I mean? So, like I said, when you're doing anything in vanishing points, this applies to everything, by the way. This 2-point perspective stuff applies to boxes, chairs, everything. Everything that 1 point applies to 2. And with 2, like I said, it's kind of funner. I find it a lot funner. Makes things look really dynamic too. Let's grab this. Let's pretend this is the corner of our box right here. Let's pull it toward one of the perspective lines. I'm putting a real light first, and then I'm just arbitrarily going to choose the edge. It is going to be like a thinner. Let's make this a thin box right here. So this is that edge. And then we'll do more complicated things in perspective later with other objects, and we will do chairs and stuff like that, and we'll do whole rooms too. And let's pick right here. These are all vanishing toward the same point, and that makes them consistent and very real. It really sets the viewer there. Even though I think in reality I'm not sure how well this stuff conforms. It does definitely conform some way. That's the other point. And let's throw, remember, 2 sets of lines going away from us. Doing those lightly, and then I'm just going to pick it arbitrarily. Let's just make this like a book, right? Remember, horizontal is always the same. I'm picking a random point here. I'm just decided to make it like a book shape. Let's say, let's make that a book. Let's pull it in under here a little bit, make it like a book shape. I'm going to grab this over here, and that's also going toward that way. That set of lines is all going to go similar direction. And over here, any line going this way is going to belong to this guy. It's like a vortex. Gotta wait over here. Be careful because there's a thickness to this pen because it's not sharpened very well. Alright. Just thickening these lines here so you can see them. And so that's my box. And you can see the top of it too. Just like in 1 point. This side over here is you can see it. That means it's below your eye line. This is like us. This is our height. This is our eye line right here as well. Like I said, horizon line is eye line basically. And this is probably like a book. It means it's smaller. We're looking at the top of it there. You know what I mean? It's shorter than us. Let's do another kind of odd. Let's do another box over here. Let's do like a pencil thin one. So I'm gonna do this. Sometimes I do this just to set up the vanishing points quickly. You have things called like a perspective grid, and I'll show you how to do one of those as well. And sometimes you set up a perspective grid so you can just work on top of it. Something I keep hearing about, like I can pick these arbitrarily. I'm gonna pick just thin box right here. Something I keep hearing arbitrarily would be that. Oh, I'm sorry. Something I keep hearing from different teachers is don't let this stuff bog you down. You're going to start creating kind of robotic looking stuff. Don't do that. You might think about this too much almost at the beginning. what you're supposed to do is have fun, draw whatever, draw any building you want, do whatever you want, draw it. Then, after you kind of like, you kind of go light on it, you know? Then you go into it technically. Don't go into it technically first. Don't go into a drawing technically first, or you're never going to get out of it. You're going to take so long. It's going to slow you down so much. What you do is, like I said, you just scribble around. Let's say I'm doing like I'm going to scribble on. Can you see that over here? Yeah, kind of. Let's say I'm going to scribble around some building, you know, like some city, right? I'm just going to draw the city, you know. You guys seen the way I sketch sometimes. I'm just going to sketch. Not even going to think about perspective at all. I want Batman over here. Not going to think about it. Then afterward, I'm like, okay, let's measure stuff out. Find the perspective line right here. You know what I mean? Correct. Go over it like right there. And I'm like, okay, that needs to be more like that. Okay, this needs to be more like that. You know what I mean? Have fun first. Then go into the technical part of it. You know, unless you're going to be some kind of architectural planner or something, then that's different. You know, maybe you have to not have fun. But I'd never want to do that. I'm sorry, everybody. Anyways, let's go over here to this box above us. This box is floating in the midair. It's above our eye level, where a bird would be. And I'm going to do the same thing, kind of set up this. Well, I'm not really setting up the grid, like I said. I'm just kind of setting up certain lines because I haven't picked the other ones yet. By the way, if you guys kind of got the concept, if you kind of learned anything, please hit the like button. It really helps me out a lot. I'm still learning to teach, so I'm picking that arbitrarily. Let's pick a long freaking box over here. Let's make a long box. I'm still learning to teach, and I'm trying to learn to verbalize everything I'm saying. That's kind of one of my main goals, is to really learn to verbalize better. And I feel like the feedback from you guys in the comments helps me a lot. Like a lot. Like it really helps me. So yeah, I can't, please comment as much as you want. Nothing douchey though. Just kind of going over here, tracing the outer edges of this box so it becomes more obvious. If you want to, after you do this with rulers and stuff, you can use a ruler, by the way. Ruler's not cheating. If you want to do this freehand, try that, because they made us do this freehand at my old school. They made us do it freehand in pen, so that was crazy. And it makes your dexterity go crazy. You know, it really ups your ability to put down your line where you want it to when you do that. You know, it's crazy. So that's a floating box, and we're seeing the top of it there. It looks maybe like, oh no. And that box is above our eye line, just like the other one. And here's one in the middle to finish off on, and pulling it there. Pulling it to this side. And because this one's in our mid-range, you know, this one's maybe like, probably an object that's like, I don't know, maybe our height or something. Usually like a clock in the corner, way off in the corner. Or just some, I don't know, let me make it, I don't really know what to make it. Let's just make it a fridge or something far away. Over here. I always like to put some shading on one side of these things. Makes it look a little better. Anyways, that's about it. I really appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, comment as much as you can. That helps me out a lot. That's like one of my life goals, to get better at this stuff, better at this verbalizing stuff, like verbalizing what I'm thinking. And yeah, that's about it. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll answer any questions. Another reason I want you to kind of like ask questions in the comments is so I can kind of prep my next video. You know what I mean? Maybe I can do a video entirely on the questions I received. So thanks a lot, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bum, bum.